And we're back here on the GSMC Baseball Podcast, bringing you our fifth and final segment for today, which is going to be talking about some National League trades that I did want to give my thoughts on, and talk about some trades that I thought were significant, but not significant enough for really me to talk about them for 12 straight minutes in a segment. So I wanted to give my thoughts on these 5 trades here again that I thought were good, solid moves, but not big enough. So first off, the first trade I wanted to talk about is a trade that happened a little while ago, which was Josh Bell to the Arizona Diamondbacks. Bell was originally placed on waivers by the Marlins. As much as you maybe think, oh, why would someone trade for him when they could just claim him off waivers? The thing is, you would have to take on Bell's full $16 million contract, which of course is less now, but taking on whatever it would be, maybe $4 or $5 million if I had to guess. I'm not sure what the math is with the baseball contract, but let's say $4 or $5 million this late in a year is pretty significant to a team's payroll because they don't really have that much of budget set aside, especially for a Diamondbacks team that has signed a lot of free agents over the past few years and is trying to be competitive. You're not the A's or the Rays or something. So trading for him allows them to get the Marlins to eat some of that contract. They are getting cash considerations for it, so really just a salary dump for Miami. And Bell makes some sense here for the Diamondbacks. Did have Christian Walker yesterday be pulled from a game because of oblique soreness. He is going to land on the IL, so I'd say he's probably going to be out around 2 or 3 weeks or so. So adding in Bell is a very good insurance policy for that. He slots in at first base immediately. Will probably hit the ball well with that switch hitting bat there in the middle of that Diamondbacks lineup. So again, just is a very good fill-in bat for Christian Walker, who is going to be out for a little bit. And then when Walker does come back, I'm sure you can have Bell platoon at DH, play against righties or lefties. Can play first base when Walker needs a day off, can be a really good late game pinch hitting option as well. So I think Bell just adds in a good insurance policy to Christian Walker in case his injury is a little more serious than expected. And even if it's not, he still is going to play for these 2 to 3 weeks whenever Walker is hurt. And again, adds in some nice hitting depth overall to this team as the season gets further, and it's a nice late game pinch hitting option. So I like this move for the Diamondbacks. Didn't cost much for you as well, so I like this move a lot for them. Next, we have not a significant trade whatsoever, but I did want to talk about it. The Mets trading Josh Walker to the Pirates. Walker was someone that I had my eye on for a little while for this Mets organization for the past 2 to 3 years or so, as someone who I thought could be a really nice lefty reliever for them. Really never caught on. His stuff never played at the MLB level like I thought it would. His control always kind of faltered. So getting him a fresh start here in Pittsburgh makes a lot of sense. Just as nice depth for a Pirates team that needs some bullpen depth. He's a younger player, and I think is a solid addition to their core and that bullpen. Try to fix some of his pitches, try to fix some of his control, and I think you've got an okay relief pitcher on your hands if you're the Pirates. So nice little solid depth move there. Another Pirates move they got was Jalen Beeks of the Colorado Rockies. Beeks was a pretty good left-handed reliever available on this market. A guy who I think adds in a lot to this Pirates core. Adds in a lot to this Pirates bullpen that I said, of course, just before, it needed some depth. So being able to get him, I think, is a really solid move. Has a very interesting windup, which is one of the things that teams like about Beeks a lot. Kind of hides the ball very good when he's pitching, like behind his back, and has a nice slider, has a nice changeup. Has a good repertoire there, and I think, again, will add in some really solid depth to this Pirates team. Can make a spot start if you need him to. Can be a very good multi-inning lefty reliever for this team. Is again having a very solid season with Colorado, and it'll be very interesting to see what role does happen here with Beeks on this Pirates team. I think that he could add in a lot of depth and a lot of players to a lot of addition of what will happen here with this Pirates team. So yeah, it'll be very, very interesting to see what is going to happen here with him and the addition that he is going to be here to this Pittsburgh team. Next, we have Ahmed Rosario being traded back to the Dodgers. Of course, Rosario was traded to the Dodgers last deadline from the Guardians, signed a 1-year deal with the Rays this offseason, was doing pretty solid there, and they get traded back to the Dodgers at this deadline again. So obviously the Dodgers like something about him. Rosario's had a pretty solid season here with Tampa Bay, has been above average hitter with them, has played a lot of different positions with them, can play second, short, third, left, center, right. Is a very good utility man. That's really what he's become throughout later in his career now. I think that's really what he always could have become with this, watching him back with the Mets. Of course, I'm a Mets fan. He was a top prospect with us a little while ago. a few years ago, I should say, and never really latched on to being the starting shortstop I thought he could be. But they always talked about him moving to different positions because of the athleticism he has, and now him becoming a very solid player who can play a lot of different positions, be a very good utility man for a team, I think makes a lot of sense. I looked at him as kind of a cheaper Isaiah Kiner-Falefa to a lot of teams. A utility man that plays a lot of different positions and can hit lefties well, can hit righties decently, and just can play a good spot start whenever needed. Dodgers, of course, like their versatility, adding in Tommy Edman yesterday, adding in Ahmed Rosario now, two very versatile players to this lineup. Mookie Betts also has some versatility as well. I mean, he's played center, left, right, second, short throughout his time with the Dodgers, which for a player of his superstar caliber you wouldn't really expect, but still, overall, I think that it's a very solid addition for this Dodgers team. Really didn't cost much to get him, and adding a guy who has familiarity there and playing in Los Angeles, who can make a start whenever you need him to, can play shortstop there while Edman trying to recover from his injury, while Betts is trying to recover from his injury as well, I think is a really nice addition here to this Dodgers team. Also, Miguel Rojas is hurt as well. Nick Ahmed, do you really want to be starting him consistently in 2024? I think not. So I think Ahmed overall is a very solid addition to this Dodgers team. Really nice addition here to them, and I like them a lot to be able to get him as a kind of a buy low guy. So there we go. Final trade we have here is a pretty big one, actually. Frankie Montas going from the Cincinnati Reds to the Milwaukee Brewers. Montas was a big signing by this Reds team, 1-year deal after some not great seasons with the Yankees the past 2 years. Reds signed him as kind of a buy low option. I raved a lot about it in the offseason when I was here doing this podcast, that I really liked this move for the Reds. And unfortunately, it did not really work out well. He started off doing pretty well for this Reds team, but had some injuries, problems, and just got a little worse as the season went on. So really did not end up being a great move for this Reds team. Signed with a big contract. Has a big option for next year, which I'm sure will not be picked up by the Brewers unless he does some insane pitching there, which I don't think he will. Has an ERA close to 5. Brewers also give a good haul for him back, giving up Joey Wiemer, one of their top prospects from a few years ago. Hasn't done the best one in the MLB, but I still think has a lot of potential. And kind of crazy trading him for a guy who you're going to have for 2 months that has an ERA close to 5. It was also a ton of injury history. So again, just another reason why this pitching market has been absolutely insane with prices. So overall, I think just on paper, it's a solid move for this Brewers team. They desperately needed starting pitching, and being able to add in Frankie Montas, a veteran guy who can eat innings to a high degree, can be a very solid veteran addition to this Brewers team, I think is good. I think the price was high. I think there were better plays you've gone with Joey Wiemer headlining it, a guy who I think could project to be a starting player in the MLB. Maybe not to a high degree, but still a good starting player. So I think was not a great package they gave up for the Brewers, but I like the move of Montas. And hey, what team has been happy giving up a starting package here for overall right now for this year's deadline? The Mets actually traded Cade Morris to the A's for Paul Blackburn. And so I'll be going over that quickly with this NL trade segment. Of course, it fits in. Blackburn, I'm sure, will be just a good, solid depth addition to this Mets team. Can be a guy that starts as your number 5 man. Could be a swingman type guy. Just came back from injuries, under control for 2025 as well. So I think that Paul Blackburn is just a very solid addition to this Mets team. They needed some pitching depth to get a buy low option here. Obviously, did not want to give up any significant prospects for the starters available at this deadline. So I like this move, and I think it was really solid by this Mets team. So, I would like to say that is our show for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching this trade deadline special. I'll be rushing down and watching. I'll be now working, seeing all the moves that happen in the next few hours or so. We'll be going over all the moves that I did not catch on this stream tomorrow and going over all that, and then going over trade deadline grades, power rankings, all that kind of stuff as the weeks now go from the trade deadline. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram for more content and updates. Make sure to subscribe to the notification bell to this channel to not get notified when I upload, when all the other great content creators on this channel do. We'll see you at baseball shows us tomorrow. Have a fun time watching the rest of the deadline, guys, and thank you so much for watching. We'll see you tomorrow on Wednesday. Thanks, guys, and bye.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day. Yeah, I'm tired of shit, and the coffee ain't hit yet, damn, ain't that great. I don't wanna go to